Ladies and gentlemen, it is Gimme 5 time, and we go back to the archives almost 3 years ago. Mark Halpern, of course, you see him on Bloomberg TV now. You see him on the Showtime series. You see him also on MSNBC all the time, and he still writes. So Mark Halpern was on with me, and we made huge news. And this show, the thing about this show is I have a knack for having my guests make news because I ask the questions that wind up making news. I don't know how that happened. It's just in me. So we made news like you wouldn't believe with this. Now that Obamacare has been, once again, the premium is going up 22, 25%, some places over 100% like Arizona. I thought this was a good time to pull out how we got really honest answers from a liberal Democrat, Mark Halpern, 3 years ago on Obamacare. Watch. Did the media know, do you think, did you know that President Obama was lying through his teeth for 3 years when he said, if you like it, you could keep it?
I group myself into the statement I'm about to make. I think it's clear that at the time of the passage of the Affordable Care Act and in the context of the presidential campaign, the press did nothing like an adequate job in fly-specking and scrutinizing the whole law, not just the provisions that have already become controversial and about which the president was misleading in the context of a campaign and governance, but other aspects of the law to come.
Right. So the president was misleading about Obamacare when he ran on Obamacare and before it ever came to fruition, of course, and the media did not do its job. He admitted that. So that sets the groundwork here. By the way, how did I get younger in 3 years? How did my hair get so dark? I don't know. Here's more.
It's incumbent upon the press to do a lot of scrutiny so the public can make an informed decision. Part of the issue, I've said this elsewhere and received some criticism about it, part of the issue was Governor Romney didn't make health care a big issue in the campaign because he had his own political problem. And so often in the context of the campaign, what gets scrutinized is what one side or the other puts forward. But there's no doubt that even without Governor Romney putting health care front and center, the press should have done a much better job. And that would have been in the president's interest, really, and in liberals' interest, because a law that has no scrutiny in real time is not going to get corrected. And now they're dealing with the scrutiny that's coming belatedly, and it's really setting back their attempts to make the law a practical reality.
And this is 3 years ago. And Halpern is admitting again the media did not do its job in scrutinizing Obamacare from the get-go. Watch. Here you had a law that not one Republican voted for. The media didn't think it necessary to find out what the heck was in it. And I just don't get that. You can't tell me it's not because Obama was a Democrat and possibly on top of it an African-American Democrat. Did that play a role?
Well, I've been outspoken for my career in saying that there's liberal bias in the media, and it's a big problem, and it remains a big problem. So I certainly think that played a role in some of the things you're talking about. I thought the coverage the president got in 2008 was the most favorable coverage of any presidential candidate I've ever covered, and I think his party played a role in that, as well as the historical nature of his election.
And what was the historical nature of his election? That he was black. So Halpern agreeing, going. So watch this one. I think a lot of people said that, you weren't going to be able to keep your health care, but also, I think they focused on the death panels, which will be coming. Call them what you will. Rationing is part of it. And I agree.
Huge. It's going to be a huge issue, and that's something else about which the president was not fully forthcoming and straightforward.
All right, so you believe that there will be rationing, a.k.a. death panels?
It's built into the plan. It's not like a guess or like a judgment. That's going to be part of how costs are controlled.
It's built into the plan. The death panels. Mark Halpern said that. And it made such big news, Megyn Kelly couldn't believe it. Watch.
It's not like a guess or like a judgment. That's going to be part of how costs are controlled.
What? That was Mark Halpern, senior political analyst for Time magazine, in an interview yesterday that is still echoing across the country.
Echoing across the country, as many of my interviews wind up doing. That's what makes this show so unique, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so Halpern went on, by the way.
As a society, we need to have this discussion in an honest and straightforward way because we can't afford everything, every instance that people would like to have.
And has the president been forthcoming that we need to have that argument? No.
No, he was not, and Democrats were not when the law passed. But I'll say again, there should have been more scrutiny by all the press, including the conservative press, of the specifics.
All right. Well, there was plenty of scrutiny by the conservative press. I mean, not one Republican voted for it. Not one Republican in the House or Senate voted for this disaster, this monstrosity. And of course, the conservative press, including talk radio, of which I was a part at the time, we pointed all this stuff out. Now, this bill got voted upon without being read. There wasn't time to read everything, but we knew about the death panels. Obama campaigned in 2008, as we played you yesterday, on lowering everybody's premium by $2,500. And of course, the opposite has happened, and worse than $2,500. The opposite has happened. Now, what's very interesting is that after this went all over the place, viral, Mark Halpern decided to tell everybody he never said death panels. I didn't say death panels. He tweeted out, I did not say death panels, nor do I believe the Affordable Care Act contains them. But he said it. You heard him say it. And then he went on, I think, Morning Joe, and said this.
I said something imprecisely. I was being interviewed, and I was asked about rationing or death panels in the Affordable Care Act. I'll say here again what I tried to say on Twitter yesterday. I didn't use the phrase death panels, and I don't think there are death panels in the Affordable Care Act.
Wait, but that's all my tweets were saying.
I know.
They're not?
But what there is, the point I was trying to make, and which I did make, is what there is in the law is something that is intended to lower health care costs, which will produce rationing, whether you think rationing is a good idea or a bad idea.
All right. So Mark Halpern was obviously lying there. He might not have said the word death panels, but when I brought it up, he said, yes, definitely. It's in there. It's not even a matter of opinion. It's in there. So please. Anyway, so death panels will be the next issue about this disastrous bill.